Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be another very special video, and I have to give credit. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times, ideas for videos or systems and strategies or concepts come from just a little tiny spark that you see somewhere else. And in this case, the spark came from our buddy Waylon's CRAPS with Alicia's channel. He showed a super simple system, if you want to call it that. I mean, it is a super strategy. But when I watched it, I realized there was a light bulb moment that said, wait a minute. You know, there's something here, and I'm not talking about just the strategy. It was the simplicity. And while his channel is strictly for craps players, over here at Casino Income Academy, we do craps, roulette, and baccarat. And many of you came to this channel ages ago as a baccarat player or a roulette player, and you're still very reluctant to jump into one of the most incredible games in the casino, and in my opinion, one of the best ways to make money out of the casino, which is craps. And I'm going to show you what I took away from the video that he did and basically kind of twisted it and said, wait a minute, maybe this is the outlet. This is the way to show people that are reluctant roulette players or baccarat players how they can move into the game of craps and still feel incredibly comfortable and get this incredible opportunity to make money with a very simple bet. So you guys from the roulette world, you know, that strictly play roulette, know that we've shown a lot of systems here that basically use all the different bets in roulette. But some of our private members or lifetime members remember and still utilize some of the things we've taught that just use these even money bets. Down here, you pay, you know, you put down $5, you win $5, right? And the odds, it's very simple, and people like this concept because the odds of the even money bet have to do with red and black, even odd, 1 through 18 or 19 through 36. It's not really a 50-50 bet because of the zeros. So when we play on the American wheel, we have 2 zeros, right? And these zeros are always going to lose when we use the even money. But for our baccarat players, and this is how I found baccarat years ago, is that there are no zeros, right? You're betting on banker or player. There are no zeros, but there are ties, right? If the same number is made from the player hand and the banker hand, that's considered a tie. But the difference in baccarat is it's actually a tie. It's a break even. There's no money lost or no money won. However, when you play banker, there's an edge. So you do have to pay a 5% vig. When you win on banker, you don't win the whole $5 or $100. You pay a vig to be on banker. So a lot of people get carried away with saying that this game is the ultimate even money game. There's a lot more to baccarat, as we've said in the last few months. This video is not going to go into that. It's not as simple as it really being a 50-50 game because of things that are going on inside the casino with casino and shoe manipulation and things like that. But I'm going to show you guys a way. Let's go to Crapsy. I'm going to show you guys a way that you can have that same comfort and feeling that you normally do from those type of bets, from that simplistic banker player bet, as well as from the even money bets in roulette without being a craps guru, okay? So I'm going to show you that. So instead of showing you all these different bets that we can make, and we do combo bets and hybrid systems and things like that that are amazing, I'm going to show you something for people that have still been a little bit nervous about walking over to a bubble craps machine or a roll to win machine where there is no pressure. There are no dealers. You simply sit down like a slot machine, put your money in, and you place the bets. So there is no pressure. You can't make mistakes, or nobody's going to look at you and think that you don't know what you're doing. Well, it's going to be even harder to think that because with what I'm going to show you now, there's only one bet that you're going to be making. And you're going to use your money and it's going to last you longer because remember in craps, we don't automatically have the bet that I'm going to be showing you is not an automatic instant win or loss. It can be, but can also take many results for it to actually be a determination of a win or loss, which is a big difference with craps that some of you don't seem to understand. It's not win-loss, 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 win-win-loss. Sometimes there's multiple results before a bet dissolves or resolves itself. And that's something that's different about this game that slows the pace up as well. So what we're going to be using is the don't come bet. This box over here. So if you're playing this at a traditional table with real dealers, you're going to want to stand as close to this box as you can, which is on the hook, on the edges. There's one here and there's usually one here. So to make life easier so you don't have to throw your money across the table, you want to stand there. Now, the other thing I can tell you is that on electronic, obviously it doesn't matter. So I want to show you what this bet is, okay, so that you feel extremely comfortable with what's going on here. Let me see if I could pull that up. Wow, where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, so this is just AI, right? And what I asked AI to show you, and you can do the same thing in ChatGPT or anything else, is to basically, and by the way, this is another little lesson. How did I use this AI? I asked a query or a prompt that was very succinct. Please provide details of the don't come bet in the game of craps. Show odds and probabilities of winning the bet on the initial bet and after the bet has been moved to a number. So some of you may not understand what that means. So here's the deal. The don't come bet can only be made when there's a point established. So this little puck has to be on a point. If it's not, you have to wait for the point to be moved. And then what you can do is you can put your amount here. And again, the table minimum does come into play. On bubble craps and electronic, you can probably make this as low as usually $1 to $3, which is great for low ball bankrolls. On a regular table, this is determined by whatever the minimum is. It could be a $5 table, a $10, a $25 table. So you would be placing your money in here. So what does that mean? Okay. Whoops. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. All right. So when we put our money there, it can only be made after a point is established. And it can be resolved on the next roll, right? Which would be called the come out roll for the DC anyway, all right? So what they're calling this is, you can kind of think of this as a mini don't pass bet, all right? I'm not going to confuse you guys. I'm going to make this real simple. When you put your money in the DC bet area, these are the only things that can happen. If a 2 or a 3 is rolled while you're in that box, you're instantly going to get even money. You're going to get a win. Now, the chances of the 2 and 3 coming are low, right? Because there's only a few ways to make a 2 or a 3 when you use 2 dice, all right? When you use 2 dice. If the 7 or 11 is rolled, you're going to lose that money instantly, right? For this single roll. Single roll. If a 12 is rolled, it's a tie. You do not lose your money. You do not lose. And here's the real key. If any of these other numbers are rolled, right, the remaining numbers, okay, let's clearly show that. We call these box numbers. So if the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10 are rolled, this is going to move behind the number. And when it gets moved behind the number, now is when the magic happens. Because now that same 7 that was your enemy here becomes your friend. And you are in the exact same position as the casino. because that's the casino's number. Big red, the 7, right, is the casino's number. And there are more ways to make a 7, right? There's 6 ways to make a 7 with 2 dice. All of these numbers have less than 6 ways to make a number. And especially the outside numbers. The 4 only has 3 ways to be made. The 10 only has 3 ways to be made, right? And as you move your way inside, these numbers have a little bit more ways to be made, more combinations. So your chances of winning are greater if this moves to an outside. But the key is that the 7 is favored over all of these numbers. You are in a position, a very, very good position to win if you can get out of this box, right? So again, where is it? Again, here are all the things that can happen when you put your money in the box. You can win instantly with the 2-3. You lose instantly with the 7-11. That's the edge for the casino right here, right? But if the 7 or 11 isn't given to you, well, everything changes then, and you now have control, big time, all right? The 12 is a push, and then the box numbers, you move behind that number. So let's look at the odds here real quickly. Here's the exact probabilities on that first roll, right? When you're in that box. The chances of a 2 or a 3 rolling are 8.33. So it's not a great percentage, right? But it's part of the percentages, and you instantly win at that point. And you can take your bet down or leave it there once again to try to move it out of that box and get behind a number. The 7-11, this is their edge, right? You're going to lose with a 7 or 11 if it comes up when you're in that box, 22% chance, all right? So this is where they make their money, basically, right? The push doesn't mean anything. It's a 2.78. You're not winning, you're not losing. But look at this. You have 24 of the 36 dice combinations on your side, right, for it to move behind one of those numbers. Now, if you add in the 2 and the 3, you have 27 combinations out of the 36 to not lose, right? These win, these don't lose. It moves the money behind the number. So you're not dead, right? Now, when it's moved there, you have a great chance of winning the bet. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but you have a better chance. And here are the odds, the probabilities of winning once you move out of that box and over to one of those numbers. So you can stop the video and take a look at these if you want, okay? So if it's moved behind the 4, there's only 3 ways to make the 4, and there's 6 ways to make the 7, because for us to win, we now own the 7. So if it moved to the 4 here, we don't want to see a 4 because we would lose. We're betting when this moves over that the 7 is going to show up before whatever number it moved to, okay? So you look at your chances of winning when you're on the 4 and the 10. If it moves to the 4 or the 10, close to 70%, 67% of the chance you're going to win. Now let me explain something to you for all those roulette and Baccarat players. That's a huge difference between red and black. Okay, between red and black. Now, there's a lot more math going on here. I'm not saying on this video, right, that you can't win with red and black or you can't win with banker versus player. We're not saying that. I'm showing you another way to approach mathematically another game in the casino that will open the door for you to have another game in your toolbox without getting involved at the beginning of learning all the other bets for craps, which are phenomenal, but this is a simple gateway drug that I'm giving you into the game of craps. And as you can see, as we move in the 5 and the 9, there are 4 ways to make those versus the 6 ways of the 7, right? So there's one more way to make those if your DC bet moves behind the 5 and 9. So your odds of winning are still 60%. Still 60%. Higher than a red and black, or a high-low, or an even odd, okay? And then the two numbers that can be made more is the 6 and 8. So your odds of winning on those is not as great, but guess what? It's still almost 55%. Okay? Now, no matter where this goes to, this is an even money bet. Okay? And the only thing you have to care about is that the 7 shows up before that number. That's it. There's nothing else to discuss. Okay? Now, let me explain something else. This is a little bit more advanced, and we probably won't get into this on this specific video, probably. This is not a contract bet. So when this moves successfully, the 7 and 11 didn't roll, the 2 and the 3 didn't roll, right? Because on the 2 and 3 you would have won anyway. This moves behind one of these numbers. It's not a contract bet. You can remove that bet at any time. Now, there is absolutely no reason that you should remove that bet, because you can see that you are always in the lead, right? Because you own the 7. So you have the odds in your favor, which very rarely will ever happen in any casino game will you have the odds in your favor. So removing that bet is not usually something that is a smart move. I'm not saying you can't do it, but when the odds are in your favor, no matter what number it runs to, why would you remove the bet? Okay? Now, if we get to it in this video, I'll explain to you an advanced strategy. If not, we'll do a part 2 to this video. So now that you guys understand, right, and there's more here, the overall odds of winning a don't come bet, the house edge, lots of things. I don't want to make this too crazy, okay? I want to make this a basic video on the most simple way for people that don't play craps to take advantage of this incredible opportunity. So we're going to use, I'm going to stop the video for 1 minute because I have this set to manual roll, so I have to get the dice. I will be right back, guys, and then we're going to do a quick demo. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to go get the dice. So when you use CRAPS, which is one of the best ways to learn how to play craps and simulate all the strategies that we teach in our digital courses for craps, you have the option of setting it up to enter your own manual rolls like this and play it for real with 2 dice, which is what I'm going to do now, or you can use their generated rolls. So here we go. So we put our $10, and you can do this again for anything that the table minimum is, from whatever it may be, $2, $3, all the way up to hundreds of dollars. And we have people that do these type of strategies and more advanced strategies using the DC from our digital courses. So we're just going to use $10 to make it easy. So I can put the money here because the point is already established on the 5. So here we go. All right, so I rolled a 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter that. And again, if you remember what I just showed you, the 4 and the 10 are the best case scenario. Well, other than the 2 and the 3, where it's an instant win, the 4 and the 10 are the best case scenario because the odds of it throwing a 4 before the 7 are extremely low, right? There's only 3 ways to make this 4 where we would lose this money, and there's 6 ways to make a 7. So here we go. So now, that's all we did was make one bet. The bet moved, and we don't have to do anything else. It could take 1 roll if it's a 7 for it to resolve. It could take 1 roll if it's a 4 and we lose, or it could take 20 rolls. We don't have to do anything else. Here we go. Okay, it's a 3. I'm not going to put it in here because a 3 doesn't do anything for us, so I'm not going to register it so we can go quicker. Okay? We only care if it's a 4 or a 7. Okay, that's an 8. Again, doesn't do anything. And there it is, 6-1. So we just won the bet. So I'm going to put it in. 6 and 1.
7 out.
Which means the 7 came before the 4, and we won. And here's our $10. Now watch this. Remember, the puck is not on a number, so we can't make our next bet yet. So we have to just be patient, and we have to wait, and that's an 8. So now the puck is going to move to the 8, which triggers us to be able to make our next DC don't come bet. And we're just going to do our base bet 10. Okay, that's a great roll. We just got a 2-1-3. Remember what I said happens if you're in the DC if a 2 or a 3 show up. If a 2 or a 3, we automatically win. So here we go.
3 craps.
So we're already up $20, right? And the bet stays there. And obviously we're going to keep going. So here we go. Okay, we got lucky again. It's a 3 and a 1. So the bet is going to transfer and move
4 easy
behind the 4 again, which is fantastic. So once again, we have nothing to do but wait to let this bet resolve with either a 7 or a 4. It's a 5. That doesn't do anything to us. No harm, no foul. It's an 8. That makes the point. So just to keep things clean, it doesn't affect us, but we'll put that in.
8 winner.
So this puck moves, but our bet is still working. Okay, our bet is still working. Even though that puck moved off, our bet is working. Okay, there it is, 5-2-7. So you're seeing the power of having the 7 on your side so far.
7 winner.
And we get paid because the 7 came in before the 4. So we're now up 3 units, or in our case, $30. The way I play this type of strategy is I'm looking for 5 to 8 units. If I'm only playing this specific strategy, not one of our advanced strategies where we use the DC along with other bets in a combination. If I'm strictly playing as clean as this single bet, I'm looking for 5 to 8 units. So again, the puck is off. We have to get a come out number to move the puck. And that's a 7. That doesn't do anything because it's not a number. So we have to wait. That's a 6 and a 4, 10. So we're going to put that in. 6 and 4.
10 easy.
The puck moves and gives us the ability to make our next don't come bet. And there it is. And here we go. Okay, it's a 3-2-5. So this money is going to effectively move out of the DC box.
5 fever.
Behind the 5. The odds of the 5 versus the 7 is our odds are slightly less in our favor. Slightly. Because there's an extra way to make the 5 and the 9. Right? So we're always going to have the odds of the 7 in our favor. But the 4 and the 10 are obviously slightly more. So now what we're rooting for, as always, is the 7 to come before the 5. Okay, that's a 10. That hits the point, so the puck comes off, but it doesn't affect us.
Winner 10.
See? Doesn't affect us. Only the 5 or the 7. That's a 4, which means the puck is going to move back onto the board, and that's going to become the point number. Right? Not that it matters. It doesn't matter to us. We're still just looking for the 7. Okay, 6 and 3, 9. That doesn't do anything. 4, 3, 7. So that's the number we're looking for, always. So we're going to win again.
7 out.
All right, so we're up 4 units now. The puck came off. So let's get a come out roll. 5, 3, 8. So the point number becomes 8, which we don't really care.
Easy 8.
We just need the ability to put another DC bet out. And we're going to talk about what happens when we lose this DC bet in a moment. Okay, we're getting really lucky. That's another 4. So that's a great number for
Hard
our
four.
DC bet to travel behind. So once again, we're looking for the 7 before the 4. That's an 8. That's the point number.
Winner 8.
Okay, doesn't affect us. That's a 3. That doesn't move the point because for this puck to move, it has to be one of these numbers. And that's a 5. So that'll make the point a 5. And again, notice how it's not an instant win or loss. That's what I want you guys that don't play craps to understand. It's not the same as spinning the wheel and we lose and we win. Or in Baccarat, we lose or we win or it's a tie. It's not. This can take 5 rolls, 10 rolls. It slows things up. There's nothing to be scared or stressed out about. Here we go. Okay, that is a 8. That doesn't do anything. That's a 9. See how many rolls where we don't get a result? And that's a 7 out. So we win again. The magic of the 7 versus the 4 again.
7 out.
All right, so we're up 5 units. We're up $50. You can quit right now. All right, you can quit right now if you can duplicate this. And that's what it's always about in trading, in craps, in roulette, in casinos, in assets, anything. Duplicatable process in business is what everybody is looking for. That's the holy grail. Not the strategy, it's the process. So this simple way of using the DC, we've been able to duplicate it. Now, we haven't lost one of these yet. If we lose, we're going to look to lose one at some point so that I can show you what happens. So let's see if we can get that to happen. If it doesn't, then I'm going to explain to you what we do. So okay, that's a 6, 4, 10. So the puck is going to move
10 easy.
to the 10. Now we can make our next DC bet, right? And let's roll the dice. Okay, again on the 4. Again, the odds are really with us. That doesn't mean we can't lose. If they throw another 4, we're going to lose. So here we go, looking for the 7. Okay, that's a 5. That doesn't do anything. That's another 5, back to back. Another 5. Holy cow, 3 5s. That's a 10. So that's the point number. I'll register it because the point comes off.
Winner 10.
But it doesn't affect us because our bet is working. Okay, that's a 12. That's a 9. So the puck is going to move to the 9.
Nina.
And we're still waiting for a resolution of our DC bet behind the 4. Okay, that's a 9. The people that are on the pass line just won.
Winner 9.
And it's back on the 9, because that's a 5-4, so it's going to move right back to the 9. And again, we haven't won or lost this bet. That's an 8. That doesn't do anything for us. That's snake eyes. And that's a 6. That doesn't do anything. Whoops. Hold on. Here we go. That's another 6. So you see how many rolls you can potentially have without getting a resolution. That's an 8. That's a 9. Wow, this guy is making points, right? This shooter is making points. And we still haven't gotten a resolution to our bet. There it is. That's the resolution. It was coming. The 7 is always lurking, and there it is. Patience.
7 winner.
So there's another $10, another 1 bet, and we're now at 6 units, and I probably, because this was such an easy run, when I have an easy run like that, I run for the hills and pull a ticket if I'm playing bubble craps or the electronic versions of this. I'm going to run and pull this $60 ticket, take a break, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee or tea, walk around, watch what other people are doing, have fun, relax, and come back and duplicate it. Okay, now, let's just talk about what happens if we lose. Now, Again, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. You do not have to get crazy with progressions when you have a good bet selection. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to lose a little bit. You're going to win 2, you're going to lose 1. You're going to lose 2, 3, you're going to win 1, 2. You don't have to go crazy. But if you want to have a progression for this, I'm going to give you the basic suggestion. Only if you're down for the session do you go up. And you can go up 2 units, right? Up by 2 units. So if you are playing $10, go up to $30. If you win, go down to 20. So you're using a ladder. Okay, and that's what Waylon did in his video too. You're going to go up 2 units on a loss and down 1 unit on a win, going up and down the ladder. Now, I'm going to tell you, do not get crazy using the ladder. If you practice this, you're going to understand that most of the time you can flat bet this. And if you have the patience, you don't even need to use a ladder many times. But if you lose a few in a row, or if you lose a few that are close to each other, you use the ladder sparingly. Now, my last statement on this, for alumni members that have access to even money betting structures that we've shown in the past, private and the money management volumes that you guys have, as well as anybody here on YouTube that can go back and look at our red, black, or even money systems, you will see many different ways of doing progressions on even money bets. Even money bet progressions. You can test any one of those out because we've provided some super slow methods, including the Faction 2, right? And Faction 3 that we've shown, including Axis Money Management, including so many others that we've utilized. The moral of the story is, I'm telling you right now, you barely need any progressions when you do this system most of the sessions that you're going to play. So use those progressions wisely and sparingly. So let's just do a few more and maybe we'll get knocked off. So that's an 8. So the puck is going to move. 6 and 2.
8 easy.
All right. And now we're going to put our $10 DC bet here. And by the way, we haven't lost this bet either. We've been very lucky that the 7 or the 11 hasn't shown up. It's the same thing. If you lose this to the 7-11, just replace it. Unless you are deciding to do a progression, right? And the progression that Waylon used is 2 units up on a loss and 1 unit down on a win, like a ladder. I have no problem with that. Okay, there it is for the first time. We're going to lose this bet because the 7 showed up while we're in the DC area. So look.
7 out.
Okay, we lost that bet. We're still up 5 units. All right? Do you think I'm going to ladder up? Hell no. So let's just get this puck to move because we can't make an instant bet. Oh, and that's something else I need to tell you guys. All right, very important. That's a 10, by the way. No, I'm sorry, that's a 9, a 5-4-9. The other benefit of playing the DC versus other things that I don't want to get into in this video is that you cannot have back-to-back 7s hurt you. So you saw that the 7 showed up when we were here. We have no ability to go back into this box until the puck moves. So even if there's a string of 7, 7, 7, 7, right, which is very rare, but you can get 7 and 7 back to back quite a bit, we have no ability to get lost in that sequence and to lose other than the first time because we can't put a bet out here immediately because the puck needs to move. That's another major benefit of this bet versus the don't pass and other ways to play the game. Okay, so let's register this 9-5-4.
Nina, Nina.
And now we're not going to ladder up because we're still up 5 units. So we're just going to go back out there with another 10 and just keep rolling along. All right, that's a 6-4-10. So it's a great number, right? There's only 3 ways to make a 10.
10 easy.
Versus 6 ways to make the 7. So the odds are in our favor. 6 and 2 is 8. That doesn't do anything. 4 and 4, 8. That doesn't do anything for us. 6 and 2, 8 again. 6, 2, 8. Wow, a lot of 8s now. There it is, 5, 2, 7. So you see how fast, even after a loss, just take a deep breath.
7 out.
And we just made our money back and we're back to 6 units. Okay? No big deal. So the moral of the story is you understand you can go back and watch the odds and understand the power of the 7 versus these numbers and the structure of the DC bet. You do not have to be a craps genius to be able to finally start working your way into having this in your toolbox. This is one of the most simple ways to diversify and maybe put your foot in the door to learning how to play some of the most amazing systems that we teach in our digital courses on the game of craps. Craps is amazing because you can play it at a very low level on bubble craps and the roll to win tables, as opposed to the traditional tables where you can get comfortable on the ships and play there, right? So you can start at a very low field of play with a low bankroll, and you're only making a single bet. That's all you're doing, all right? And you don't have to have a huge bankroll, all right? Do this at the $3 level at bubble craps. Now, let me tell you one other thing. If you're playing straight bubble craps, they will not allow you, if it's not the combined one where other people are using the same dice, like the roll to win tables, if you're playing the one that is just your set of dice and you hit it, you cannot hit it if you don't have a bet out. Okay? So you really want to find those tables where the same dice are being used by multiple people so you can wait for the puck to be moved. If you don't have that in your casino, you're going to have to make a bet, right, to get this puck to move for the first time, right? Or for any time. So what happens is, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make a one-time bet, and it's almost the same as the DC, but it doesn't pay even money. It's the same structure, but it doesn't pay. It's called a lay bet. So whatever the minimum bet is at your bubble craps, you're going to take advantage again of the power of the 4 versus the 7. And you're going to make this bet, which is called a lay bet. Okay? A lay bet here. Right? Just like that. Right? You're going to do a lay bet. Now, this bet, again, wins if the 7 is rolled. It loses if the 4 is rolled. The reason we're doing this is so that we can hit the button to get the dice to roll. Once this puck is moved out to a number, you're going to remove this bet because you don't need it anymore. Because that's when you're going to make your DC bet. Okay? So if it's forcing you to make a bet to get the dice to roll, if you're on an electronic game that's forcing that, make the lay bet for the minimum amount and let this puck come out, and then you can start your DC bets. And you're going to have to do that any time that you need the dice to roll, right, where you can't make the DC bet. And we know we can't make the DC bet until that puck is moved. Once the DC bet is here and it moves, you don't have to make that extra bet because you have a bet out there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for you guys. You do not have to do that on any traditional table, because you could stand there for 30 minutes and wait for the puck to move or anything before making the DC bet. So that's only the story on straight bubble craps where it's your set of dice in the little canister. If you're playing the electronic where it's combined, where everybody is using the same canister, that same thing with the dice, and it's bouncing up and down, you don't have to do anything until the puck moves, just like we've been doing. All right? So I hope that this opens the door for many of you that have been nervous about playing craps, and this is hopefully a gateway for you, the most simplest way and one of the most effective ways to make money without having to learn all the other bets or getting confused. This is the DC bet, and we're using a 2 up on the loss, 2 units up, and 1 unit down on the win, a ladder, or you can use this with any of our even money bet progressions that we've shown on this channel or in any of our private videos. Have a great day, guys. Practice this on Crapsy, and you can also practice this for free on Wizard of Odds. And I hope that this will open the door for you guys to see the amazing concepts that we're teaching in the toolbox section called CRAPS, and you can get those strategies by purchasing any of the digital courses for Bubble Craps that are on the website casinoincomeacademy.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.